guys, we've got a little surprise for you this Heritage Day. On, I think, this very important day, one final, brave, thought-provoking Ingram's Skin session. We have loved these.
They've been beautiful.
They've been so authentic and just connected us to the most amazing people as well. Now, when we think of our heritage, it provides clues to our past and how our society has evolved, and hopefully is continuing to evolve. For over 85 years, Ingram's, much like our family heirlooms, has been passed down from generation to generation, and in that heritage lies a strong sense of what people value: beautifully nourished skin. And over time, society has come to embrace and thankfully celebrate beauty and diversity, especially when it comes to our nation's many skin tones and textures.
We've loved seeing it, right? Skin has bridged the generational divide, as we've seen over the years. How you wear it, when, and if you should show it off, and how you take care of it, I think it remains very, very important. Now, this brings about an all-important question this Heritage Day. How do we encourage current and future generations to wear their skin bravely? And it's been a big conversation that we've had. Joining us this morning as we unpack this conversation is comedian and TV presenter Miss Nina Hasty. We've got our favorite choreographer, DJ and dancer Courtney Paul, as well as vitiligo spokesmodel and body positivity activist Budumelo Rameti. The three gorgeous ladies on the line with us. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
And three of the bravest as well. Absolutely love you girls. Thank you so much for joining us for one last Skin Sessions. I'm so sad to see this coming to an end because it really has been an amazing journey to be on. What does Heritage Day mean to you?
Sure, this always feels like a bit of a loaded question for me, you know. Being coloured in this country can always be a bit tricky when it comes to heritage. But for me, I really just made it about enjoying it, touching base with my family, my friends, trying not to focus too much on the heaviness around it or be dictated, you know, as to what this heritage thing should be to me. So, yeah, man, I think for me, it's just a really light, good day, good things as opposed to all the heaviness around us.
And I think we're keeping it light in general. I mean, let's talk about tattoos, for example. We know that tattoos, Nina, on our skin are somewhat frowned upon by, you know, some older generations. How can we help bridge the generational gap around tattoos and their meaning as a form of skin art and self-expression?
Well, you know, there's a couple of things. Guys, am I allowed to show you my thighs on the TV?
Yeah,
go for it, girl. Now you've got us so excited about the prospect.
This here, if you look at this, right?
Wow.
This is a version. So the Serbian Crest are these four things over here, and then there's the double-headed eagle that's holding the crown. And my great-grandfather actually flew King Peter, the former monarch of Yugoslavia, into exile when the war broke out. And, you know, just maintaining the Serbian heritage, even though I'm a second-generation South African, like on my other leg, I have a tattoo of Saint Dimitri, who is our family saint. What I always explain to people is kind of like having amadlozi, like, you know, our ancestors that take care of us. What's so beautiful about discovering your own heritage is realizing how much heritage and cultural practices we actually share with one another. And of course, they're moisturized with my lovely Ingram's.
Gotta be
because you got it, man. You got it. As Tubbs said, it becomes a totem. My tattoos are certainly a totem for me. Courtney, I'm going to push you a little bit on this because you kind of alluded to it. As a coloured person, what have been some of the perceptions that you've had to overcome with regards to your own identity and that heritage?
I think what's important to note is that I'm still very much on that journey. I'm still figuring it out. I'm finally at a place where I'm comfortable asking questions. You know, I think we're such a racially charged country that you almost like, you don't want to say anything out of fear, whether you're getting cancelled, whether you're getting dragged, you know. So I think I've spent, I would say, the last 2 to 3 years really diving into where my family actually comes from, you know. In terms of colors, it's like, no, you must be from Cape Town, you must speak Afrikaans, you know, all these things that I'm like, I'm from Durban. My Afrikaans is pathetic. Like, I will embarrass this whole race, you know. So, like, my grandparents are of Nepalese descent, you know. And growing up, I always had, whether I was just into certain sounds or the way I ate or martial arts, it's like it was always these thin little grains in me, but I never understood or never never got the opportunity to explore it. And I think that's the main thing of being colored in this country, is that we're not given an opportunity to figure it out. We basically told, like, this is where you're from, this is what you should be, or else you anti this, or, you know. And I think now I'm just pro me. So yeah, man, it's definitely a journey. So
and it's become a personal expression. That sounds like for you, Boitumelo, as we absorb a sense of our heritage throughout our lives. I know that we observe and experience the things that truly do make our families unique. What positive traits and tendencies would you use to describe your family in general, and how have those tendencies and those nuances helped you navigate your heritage?
I think this topic is actually quite amazing, especially after what the girls have just said right now, like just being rooted in that way. And it's all about self-discovery and evolving your heritage, because we are here and we are learning from those that have walked before us because they know better. So for me, Ki Mopedi and Rebashabi. So we're known as Black Jews, based on my heritage and just understanding who I am and who I'm about, and evolving that and incorporating it in the person that I am today is the greatest thing for me, because we're always discovering new things and always learning new ways of doing things and always needing to adapt the old ways of doing things to how we are now. So knowing that history and the journey where we come from, you're able to carry on from what your ancestors used to do, and they walk with you, and you're also able to correct or do things better that they were unable to do. And the only way you can do that is by learning your history. So you need to establish yourself, put that stake in the ground, and your future generations will carry it out for you.
Well, feeding off that, I've got a question that I think probably applies to all of you, and I'd love to hear from all of you. Throughout the last few months, we have had some amazing, really incredible, thought-provoking conversations through our Skin sessions. It's been a wonderful platform, especially for me as a father to a girl child, and I know that she's going to be going through so many of these kind of processes herself. What values have been passed down to you that make you feel brave? Because clearly all of you have embraced that on some level. How do you intend to nurture those exact same values for other generations, future generations, and the skin that they are in? Maybe Nina, I'll start with you.
One thing that's always been instilled in me is the two major things. One, you have to be yourself. I know that sounds like such an obvious thing. So if you are vulnerable, you're not putting up these facades. You don't have a stop nonsense in front of yourself that people can't see your house, right? So because a stop nonsense is not always pretty. It's not even a nice barrier. So if people could see this beautiful house that was inside and the lovely, the garden and the flowers and whatever, if they could see that from the street as opposed to this wall that isn't even you, they would be so much more inspired to come inside.
I love that. Courtney, have you identified what it is that makes you brave, and how would you want to instill that in other young women, other young people, as they make their way through the same challenges that you've faced?
I think I've always been somebody that's quite brave in essence and ready to kind of just be myself, but I've never been so vocal or so okay with it as I am now, and I think that's why campaigns like this are so important, because it's being surrounded by women like this that share their experience, that make me feel, okay, cool, like I'm allowed to be exactly who I am, So now I'm at a place where I realize, like Nina said, the only way I'm going to get ahead is being myself, because everybody else is taken, man, and I hope I leave that kind of legacy behind, where it's like, I don't have to look a certain way, I don't have to behave a certain way in order to fit in.
And Boitumelo, how would you encapsulate this sort of sentiment that's coming through here about owning your brave? If you had to say it in a sentence, if that's even possible for you, or even in one word, what would that power of a sentence or word be?
It would be open to everything and attached to nothing. And that in itself, I learned from my skin changing. And that also comes from just the idea of what Nina just said right now, that you shouldn't be afraid of yourself. You should be able to embody, take ownership of your embodiment to such an extent that everyone else will begin to perceive you the way you perceive yourself. It's the self-work. It's not being afraid of yourself. It's self-realization and self-awareness. When you follow what is happening, then you just get lost in everybody else's idea of what they see life to be. And we're all creators of our own destiny. So for me, that experience started with my skin and just experiencing and accepting the body that I'm in, and not just accepting, but celebrating it as well. And then also just getting back into my heritage and knowing Ki'ing Mushabi, what is a Black Jew? What is a baby woman? What is a healer? Because I come from a family of healers, you know, from royalty, from what do? You really need to tap into your family, your roots, who you're about, and that requires you to humble yourself and just know what it is that you really want to get out of this. And it really is just self-awareness and self-realization.
Well, thank you for giving me hope in the future, ladies. Hopefully by now you know how much we love you, and most importantly, how much we love the fact that you are as brave as you are. So keep fighting the good fight. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us for our final skin session.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. It was amazing. We're so sad it's the final one.
I know.
Comfortably evolving, steadily revolving. That's what I say. Now, that's how we wrap that up. What's a Friday, though, without some exciting news? Here's the exciting news. INGRAM'S Herbal Camphor Cream is one of those products that has been part of South African homes for decades. We've all got a story to tell around that. And everybody has a story about, you know, growing up with it. And we can't help but burst into song with hands, knees, heels, and elbows.
Exactly. Like our nation, INGRAM'S is also evolving, introducing their refreshed new look. It just speaks to their trusted quality and natural ingredients with a new logo and intensive moisturization, like the rich, nourishing tissue oil cream, which now offers 72-hour moisturization. Wow. And you can look out for it in a store near you right now.
Now, I can't think of a better way to celebrate Heritage Day than to celebrate ourselves, Graham.
Yeah.
And, you know, with all the ladies and the skin that we live in and that we love, that we should be loving. And INGRAM'S has been on an inspiring mission to encourage all of us South Africans to really be brave enough to be unapologetic in how we wear our skin through their skin sessions, which have been absolutely magnificent.
Amazing.
INGRAM'S, they really have created that platform where we can all have honest discussions. Yes, sometimes tough and uncomfortable, but very necessary, including equality, diversity, inclusivity, acts of liberation, and we've even spoken about modern masculinity and what that looks like, right?
Yeah, completely. And while INGRAM'S skin sessions may have sadly come to an end just for 2021, let's keep these brave conversations going, please, to ensure that we all continue to nourish our skin and wear it bravely.